think we were talking about this on our last podcast, and I'm a product manager at heart, so this is still really true to me. And I have to tell myself on a daily basis, this is true. And you brought it up. You have experience in screenwriting. You have experience with this stuff, and at a point, I'm sure you thought of yourself as the user, right?
Yeah.
I am the user. I'm building the product. So what's interesting is sometimes we tend to build products and not think about the who, because we think we're still that. We still, hey, I still got my connection, right, to the who. I'm still the who. So I'll just worry about the solution and the why.
Yes. I know what we need. I know what we need. Don't worry.
Exactly.
I got it.
I do it to myself. Like I say, and I'm a beta testing expert.
Yeah.
I haven't ran a beta test in a decent amount of time, right? Like it's been probably a year, right?
Yeah.
And I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I get to talk with people like on a weekly basis that do beta testing, and I'm in there watching people and talking with people and discussing it. And I've been, all around the country talking to organizations about beta testing, but I still got to knock that out, right? Like you're not the user, and the only way you're really going to build that connection and give you that gut check is by having one of these programs where they're kind of co-creating, they're co-developing with you, and you understand. Yeah, that's me. Pete's my user, right? I'm going to talk to Pete. He's going to give me the lowdown, right? I'm going to be able to talk to him because I understand it, but he's going to give me exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
and that's you're not the user. Talk with your audience. That's a good, I think, connection to the the who side of what you were talking about. You're not the who right now. You just might resemble them a little bit.
Yeah. And for me at Cast and Crew, when I'm dealing with payroll apps, I've never done production payroll. I'm not that user, so I don't get that luxury, and I don't get that bias and mistake either. So a bit of both, double-edged sword, but it does inform how we really have learned to go into things like user interviews, beta testing, and customer validation for something like a real deep B2B high performance productivity tool like this is actually extremely difficult. I can't put something in front of a user that isn't really ready. I mean, this isn't a problem where they're screenwriting software gets a little couple glitches in it. That's not the same thing. This is, there's an output. People get paid based off the software that we have. Somebody's getting somebody's getting a check that pays their mortgage. So the beta testing is, we do it very, very differently. So we have things that are, they're always production ready, but not everybody gets access to everything. And we actually do a lot of our validation that way, where we're looking at who really needs this, and should we talk to them and let them use it first. And there's a lot of that I think is absolutely critical. I think that's the same for a lot of other B2B companies that I've talked to. Just, you can't, I don't think that's localized to my industry in the least. I think it's probably common practice, but if there's somebody out there who's struggling with that, better to do that than nothing, which is sort of the alternative, to do nothing, to do no validation and let everybody sort of have at it and see what happens. We've seen plenty of software do that over the years, and lots of companies fail drastically. There's all sorts of different examples of that. I think one of my favorite examples comes to mind. This is also entertainment based, but a lot of people know it, is Final Cut. Which people often confuse with Final Draft, not related.
Just final, but not.
One's cut, one's draft. Final Cut years ago had this release. It was probably about 2010. They released a new version, Final Cut X, and the users really, really hated it. The blowback it's a case study. People use it as a case study and how not to roll something out, but rolled out to a wide group without validation, and obviously very inadequate feedback. I don't know what they did behind the scenes or didn't do, but clearly either did not get enough feedback or did not listen to the feedback they got, did not get the right feedback, something, but rolled out something that was pretty disastrous as far as public opinion, and cost them a lot of business, really cost them a lot of business. There were two other major competitors, and one of them was actually Adobe Premiere, which was a huge spike in Premiere. And the sort of talk around town was, I'm not going to go with Final Cut anymore. I'm actually going to try Premiere, if you can believe that. I'm going to try the Adobe suite and see how that works. They go After Effects pretty well, so I'm going to give Premiere a shot. And they were in a perfect position to be there. Luck meets preparation. But yeah, it was a really good example.
I think that's the story of TurboTax too, if I'm correct.
Really?
Yeah. So
what was that one?
This one is about it's the difference between first to market and someone who's slow to market but listen to the market.
Yeah.
So when TurboTax first came into play, there was a lot of competition in the space, and what they did is they looked at all the softwares that were doing this personal. It was either TurboTax or I forgot the personal tools, the QuickBooks. It was one of those two.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right.
There was a competitive space, and what they did is they looked at the competition and they say, what are they doing wrong? What do people hate about those things? And it's like, give an inch, take a mile kind of thing. It just propelled them to the top position, finding the little gap between the problems.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you don't have that constant update and iteration and you're not following them, someone's gonna step in.
Yeah.
They're going to see that and they're going to say, I'm going to listen to them because
Right.
I want their money. And if you're not going to because you want to be, mysterious or playful for some reason, I think Snap even did that a couple of years back. They released a major update to their UI and it didn't go very well. And then the feedback was a resounding no. And they came back and they adjusted it and whatnot quickly. I think they were able to adjust it, but just shows you not being mysterious and trying to go out the door without that validation it's a risk. It's a big risk.
It is.
Someone's going to step in if you leave the opportunity open.